Well, that's 33 minutes of my life that I won't get back. Spies sometimes use torture as a way of extracting information, don't they? Well, 3 minutes of being forced to watch With Love Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex's new TV show, would see the most resilient hostage spill the beans. They would happily imperil their own country's national security and risk nuclear war just so they don't have to sit through another second of Meghan Markle having fun in the kitchen, hanging out with friends and showing her human side, which after half an hour of TV remains harder to find than the weapons of mass destruction. I have to be honest, this show was far worse than I feared. And it's amazing that this famous actress cannot pretend to be an authentic or compelling human being, even for the cameras, and even with the help of the best paid producers and a judicious editor. As a veteran of TV myself, I can tell you things do not bode well for this series, given the fact that producers normally start with the strongest episode in order to hook people in. So if this is the best she's got, then she has got a problem. Funnily enough, as I was browsing Netflix to find this new show, on typing the word Meghan, I was offered something completely different. I was offered a horror film about a murderous artificial intelligence doll of the same name. Let me tell you, the Duchess's show was far more terrifying, and Meghan Markle a lot more robotic and sinister than the possessed science fiction toy. The opening scene of With Love Meghan features our leading lady dressed in a beekeeper suit, making money. Sorry, honey. No, wait, money. Honey. It's so easy to get those two confused. And she's doing beekeeping, a hobby also enjoyed by Princess Catherine, because anything Kate can do, Meghan can do better. Now, she's wearing protective equipment because working with hundreds of bees can be hazardous, but I'm more nervous for the bees. As we've seen from her vindictiveness over the years, her sting is much more painful and long-lasting than any hornet. Ask the royal family, who were subjected to horrific and damaging accusations by the Duchess without any right of reply. Now, the only positive of this opening scene in the show is that given she's in a beekeeper outfit, we're spared the full, unedifying sight of Meghan's rictus grin, which can turn hearts to stone. Meghan is a tyrant so egregious, it's hard to know what's worse, being treated nicely by her or badly. If she doesn't like you, at least you've got a way out. Being placed in the friend zone is a gilded, lavender-scented nightmare, and one which has befallen the first episode's main guest, a jobbing makeup artist called Daniel Martin, who worked with Meghan years ago on the legal TV drama Suits. Now, of course, he did his best at the time on that show, but even an inch of foundation is no substitute for the ability to act. So having left scripted drama, Meghan is playing herself in this series and presumably hoping to catch the eye of Oscar judges with her new role as a lovely, normal, down-to-earth person, an overnight expert in craft and cookery, and a devoted friend. Yikes. So in comes her allergy-ridden bestie, Daniel, who seems like a lovely chap and certainly deserves far better than this ordeal. The poor guy's immune system, which he mentions every 10 seconds, is so weak, I fear that an angry stare from Megs might actually finish him off. And given his metabolic vulnerabilities, he spent the whole show looking like he was going to throw up if any of her strange culinary concoctions made contact with his mouth. Meanwhile, unfortunate viewers, all 11 of them, were suffering a severe allergic reaction to the show's star. And Daniel's arrival was strange. No shake of the hand, no high five, no hug, no physical contact at all. He just stood there at the breakfast bar looking a bit lost. Perhaps Meghan has got a Tom Cruise style contract in which even the making of eye contact is a sackable offence. Either that or it turns out that Meghan is merely an avatar, a grinning hologram that falls into 1,000 shards of glass if you touch her. One positive, Meghan has got a lovely fridge. And in this show, Meghan comes across as someone so reptilian, so otherworldly, it wouldn't surprise me if she eats raw liver from that fridge in the dead of night whilst interfacing with the mother planet. If this series was about helping us to get to know Meghan better, it is the most serious strategic mistake of her career. Sack the agent! Well, actually, she probably already has. Meghan was far better off when we just considered her to be a ruthless, social climbing attention seeker. What's coming across in this new show is far more damaging. She's cheesy, awkward, insincere, stilted, and most importantly, excruciatingly dull. We're treated to scenes of candle making, which I've got to say saw me losing my wick. I was hoping a tea towel would catch fire just for some action. There were homemade bath salts for her guest, and I'll be honest, if I had to stay in that house for 24 hours, I'd be submerging myself under the water for a sweet escape. And then there was the making of a cake from a woman in Meghan who looks like she enjoys 3 calories a day. Netflix must have deployed their finest CGI to generate pretend footage of her actually eating carbohydrates. Meanwhile, her poor allergic best mate, Daniel, looked to be in a state of anaphylactic shock at the very sight of sugar and gluten. I fear the cost of his health insurance was probably the biggest drain on the show's budget. Now, I shouldn't be too harsh. Meghan's got to do something for a living. She's a very beautiful woman. And thanks to Netflix's deep pockets, the show is nicely shot and the lack of anything happening whatsoever is propped up by an enjoyable soundtrack of hits from the 60s and 70s. The music's great, although if I was the loving spoonful whose back catalogue is plundered in the show, I'd be suing for any association with this drivel. And the problem is that the show moves along painfully slowly, with more filler than Sharon Osbourne's face. And the star at the heart of this doomed enterprise is a dud. In spite of the lovely shots, the beautiful scenery around her Montecito mansion, which has been paid for by Harry's disloyalty to his own family, in spite of the lovely music, the choreographed laughter, and the scripted banter, and the paid friends, the show is an empty and joyless experience. Meghan has the warmth and approachability of a tarantula spider and is more wooden than the forest that surrounds her 16-bathroom luxury mansion. And poor old Harry, remember him? He doesn't even make the cut for the premiere episode of this series, demonstrating the extent to which this once loved figure has become the invisible home help. How ironic that this famous aristocrat has been turned into a Victorian servant by his own wife. And there's one other glaring problem. This is a lifestyle show, but Meghan can't cook, she can't do craft, and she's clearly never seen an oven before. The only thing you can learn from this show is to never watch it again. There were no laughs, there was no gossip, no revelations, no stars, no drama, just a drab corporate video under the full creative control of Duchess Difficult. Like everything else in her life, this was a TV product on Meghan's terms. Well, I'm a viewer and I've got my own terms and I'm out. Thank you so much for watching the video. Well, I sat through that extraordinary 33 minutes of TV and I'm going to subject myself to 7 more. I don't know how many videos I'm going to get out of this. I don't even know if you want these videos, because in some ways I'm making you sort of go through the horror of what I've been going through watching it. But it's quite amusing to break it all down, to analyse her. And I do hope that by the end of these 8 episodes, I've got a full profile of the real Meghan. So look, I'm not going to promise to do 8 videos about this series, but I'll do as many as I can because I think there's bound to be plenty of material. I'm going to judge it. I want to under-promise and over-deliver, but I think there's certainly a few more videos in the remaining 7 eps. Something you can do for me, but homework for you, is if you've got Netflix, why don't you watch the first episode or 2 and then you can compare notes with what I think. And by the way, in the comments, do let me know if you disagree. And if you think I'm being too harsh on our Megs, then do let me know, because she's got plenty of fans out there as well. But yeah, so there you go. I'm going to do 7 more. Can't believe that this is my life now. And thank you so much for the positive response to the previous video, which was based on the truly stomach-churning trailer, which was a foretaste of what was to come. Yeah, so what I love about the Sussexes is that they do give us a lot of material and plenty to talk about. So don't forget to subscribe if you can. I'm very honored when you do, because it allows me to send you monologues like at the 11th hour. If you hit the notification bell, it means that you'll be alerted when new material has landed. And yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Muchas gracias.